coming up. Feel free to find a seat or stand, and as I said, please, if you have the income and willingness to, purchase some stuff from our vendors, grab some resources from Mask Block and House of Catharsis, who are kind enough to come here today and provide some resources, including lots of COVID supplies and emergency contraceptives, great reading resources, etc. On that note, specifically, as I said earlier, I'm Stacy. She and they pronouns are good. I'm here with Impetus Records, helping to run some panels today. And today's panel is called Zine Club, and we're going to talk all about zines with some local zinesters. So I'm really psyched. We're going to go down the line and have everybody introduce themselves, name, pronoun, and zine stuff as discussed, and then we'll get started on our conversation. I've set some timers. You're going to hear my phone go off. First one is in about 20 minutes to give us a 5-minute warning. And then we're going to have another one that is going to be that's the end. And then, really well spoken. Good thing I'm on the panels. And then that's going to give us a couple minutes to talk questions. And then after that, we're going to lead right into Death by Indie Downstairs, which is really exciting. So, that's that. As I said, Stacy, Shuve, and zines. Parker, why don't you start us out?
Spoken like a true punk. My name's Parker, he, him pronouns. I run Delaware Underground and Against the Machine, Delaware Zine. I'm also in Ideal Y. We just played for the first set. Yeah.
What? Open up the first set.
I had something else to say, but I'm going to pass it to my goat, Theo.
Hi, I'm Theo. He, him. You may know me as Kilpiss, the author of a lot of things like Kilpiss Zine and the poetry Kilpiss Zine. I'm just a general artist.
Hi, my name is Max, he, him. I run the zine Hexarch. That's it.
Sweet. Well, thanks everybody for coming today. And I think we have all of your zines somewhere. Do you have a zine at the Impetus table? Is that where yours is?
Possibly.
Allegedly. But Theo and Max have zines back there, so please go. Do you have zines today, Theo?
I think there might be something at this table, but I do have zines today. I have the Kindred one available, and I have the Think Machine one.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, cool. So check those out after. But today we're talking all about zines, and some people here are intimately familiar with zines, and some people might not know what the hell we're talking about. So I'm going to just give a quick overview. Zine, some people when they read it before they hear it out loud, read it as Zine, which I think is a rite of passage. But it's basically, it's somewhere between like a personal letter and a magazine. It's a self-published, independently made, creative thing. Similar to a magazine, but not quite. Anywhere from a folded piece of printer paper with a smiley face on it you hand to your friend, a note passed in class, all the way to beautifully, professionally printed and distributed zines. Most have a run of under 1,000, usually way less than that, but they are often independently distributed, copied, photocopied, shared, passed by hand, and are a staple of counterculture. So as a local punk fest and with some local punk zinesters, we wanted to talk all about it. So I think with that as an intro, I'm going to start with Max there at the end. And if you want to talk about your process and inspiration with Hexarch and like what got you into it and like what that project's goal is kind of to be.
So when I was 13, I was living on Main Street for a while.
No, I muted everyone but you.
Okay. At the time, there was a great old newsstand.
They're kind of lined up backwards.
Try it now.
Hello. All right. Yeah, anyway, go get that.
Keep talking.
Okay, anyway, there was a great old newsstand called Newark Newsstand, and they had magazines there, and I just grabbed one and read it cover to cover, and I think that night I started my first one. This was like 20 years ago, and ever since, I've been doing them, off and on. And my inspiration process is usually just giving friends space, to share whatever they're working on, or give exposure to people who don't otherwise get it.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, and that's really cool too, because I think it really embodies the ideal of a zine, to have picked something up and decided that day, fuck it, I'm gonna do this too. The first zine I ever made, I keep in my zine library, a little bit grudgingly because I'm so embarrassed by it. And I don't want anybody to read the poem I published in that thing ever. But it honors the process of being like a kid and being like, here's something I'm doing for me and for this sort of purpose. So it's cool to hear that it's been going on that long.
Yeah, and I think it's great to, we all start somewhere. I'm sure some of the early stuff I did was terrible. But
try pointing the mic that way, see what happens. Ooh, clean.
maybe that'll work. Okay.
Our mics want to hang out and be friends.
This is cool.
This is, I know, here.
There's a sign, by the way, that says, if you touch this mixer, straight to jail. So I keep being nervous to touch it, even though I did get explicit permission. Did that fix things? Try me now.
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
All right.
We'll go with
Cool. No, but yeah, like just doing something independently is what embodies a zine as well. And the zines you make are very high quality too. And a zine need not be high quality, but I'm always really impressed by the attention to detail you have in yours. Will you talk a little bit about the focus on Delaware versus non-Delaware music and bands that you have in your zine?
Yeah, so when I started it, I have to give a plug to Disturbance. That was a big influence, actually.
For real?
Yeah.
I used to make that.
And I try to put at least one or two local bands in each issue. Now, Hexarch has kind of taken more of a national, international slant, but the plan is always to, at least have some kind of local content in each issue. So.
I think that's really cool too, especially because earlier at the other panel we did, we talked about how there are some people who sort of pursue these like very renowned scenes to engage with art, whether that be like New York or LA or and there's something really special about uplifting the people who are in a place and not necessarily like going to pursue that elsewhere where you could maybe get more accolades or something.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. I'm actually in the process of starting another one that's all Delaware. So that'll be kind of what maybe Hexarch has missed a little bit. I think it's very important that we have something here that's all of ours,
Yeah, definitely.
And open to everybody to contribute whatever they want to.
And Hexarch is cool too because it reads kind of like Maximum Rock and Roll.
That was a big influence.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Maximum Rock and Roll, are they still? They're done, right?
The print edition is done.
Yeah, it's a zine that has been going on for decades. Robbie from Non-Cromulent and the Bike Project gave me and Diego like a big pile of them a couple years back, so they're like sitting in the house smelling real good because it's nice old paper. Probably not staying in good condition, but I love an old paper. But we have a couple editions. We have the edition that was published right after 9/11. That one is like really interesting. But it's cool because there are like highlights of Delaware bands in those.
Yeah, even back into the 80s, people locally were doing scene reports here, and a lot of them, I should note, are being archived through Chris and Paul's Delaware Music History Archive.
Yeah, Delaware Music History, and Chris is going to be at a panel tomorrow, so
That's
don't miss that. Ooh,
Got that?
ooh,
Delaware Music
on the pocket. And I think that's one of the special things about zines is in a very commercialized world, right, where people are paying to play and fighting for airtime in whatever way. Zines are a way for countercultural communities, be it punks or sci-fi fans or like queer artists or whomever, to distribute information, whether that's a scene report or not. There's DoDIY.org that circulates a lot of cool like local music scenes that focus on these nooks and crannies, and there's so much to celebrate here, so it's cool to see that. I'm going to move it over one to Theo. Talk to me about your zines a little bit, because you have some zines that are more like scene focused, and you have some zines that are not scene focused, and I'd love to hear about just your creative process with that and what drives you.
A lot of my background is in storytelling, right? I grew up writing little dudes and making them do things in places that I write about that are fake. And when I started to be an outside person, I realized I was a dude in a place with a story. And that was really cool.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And I was going out and meeting so many interesting people and being exposed to so many interesting scenes. I was like, I have something to say, and I'm gonna make it everyone else's problem.
Yeah.
So I think and I was like, I'm in a music scene, but I don't make music, but I'm good at visual art. Oh, there are mediums in which this already exists. So there are people who are doing something adjacent to this. I had asked for advice from Diego, and Diego was like, start a zine for it. I was like, all right, let's go. And pretty much my creative process starting out with just the music ones was just the fact that I also enjoy like things being archived, and I want, I feel like Kilpis Zine, its intention was to be a appetizer. Like, you are supposed to read it and get the rundown, and then you're supposed to go see them, and then you get your own story. That's your meal.
Delicious.
As for my non-creative stuff, like Betrayal or Blood, which was released about a year ago now. Yeah. Sometimes you feel a big emotion, and again, you have to make it everyone else's problem. It's like, crazy things will happen to you, and you have to get it out of you, and that's pretty much the other process.
I love how you spoke to that in so many ways, and something I call back on a lot is that, in my personal opinion, I find that zines are like one of the most accessible art forms, because what defines a zine is inherently, it's characteristically uncategorizable, right? Like, nothing is not a zine, and nothing is a zine unless the person who makes it is like, this is a zine, by the way. You're like, okay, cool, that's a zine. And to think about the appetizer and dinner thing too, is like, the companionship of zines and local music scenes is inextricable. Did I do that right? Ish?
Inextricable.
Inextricable! Let's hear for inextricable. A tepid applause from the crowd. They're inextricable from each other because communities are multifaceted. And when we are in community with people, we're co-creating. And everyone need not be shredding on the guitar for, like, if everybody did that, it would get overwhelming. I just saw a jam band show last week with my brother. Like, that was fine. But there's a lot of that. But we need each other because we rely on each other for all these different things. And when, instead of idolizing or putting each other on a pedestal for these abilities, we co-collaborate, something really beautiful is made, because then someone else who has a totally different thing can see the zine and maybe he's like, oh my god, I could do show photography, and then they're doing photography and then sending it to you, which you're putting in the zine, and it's self-perpetuating, and then everybody's engaging.
It's the way of life.
Speaking of, Parker, whoa, will you talk to me about your endeavors? You have so many that you do. I remember I saw some of your design work before I knew who you were. And I was like, and it's before I moved back to Delaware. And I was like, who is this person making this really cool art? And then aforementioned Diego was like, that's Parker. And I'm like, who is that? So talk to me about how you got into the visual art that you do.
I forgot to mention that I'm a graphic designer as well. I started in high school. I kind of just signed up for a class and I was like, okay, digital design, this sounds cool. I did used to be a little YouTuber and made my own thumbnails. I guess it kind of started.
Is that for real?
It's unfortunately for real.
Your YouTube videos and my zine can hang out on the shelf together.
Literally. They will till the grave. But yeah, eventually I started getting good at graphic design. I was like, I really want to make something. And this was also the time I just started going to DIY shows. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this thing. I'm going to make what I want. I'm going to make what looks cool. I'm not going to say the first band I interviewed because it shall not be named.
Many such cases.
But I remember the first time, I think the first zine I read was yours, Theo. I think it was the Gravers Lane one. And then I found Max at Punk Rock Flea Market. That's just so good.
I remember that.
So good. But yeah, I just wanted to put my name on something and say that I created something. That's all I really wanted to do. That's how my journey started.
And now you can purchase a Diamond Fest shirt designed by Parker downstairs in the Impetus booth.
That is true.
And beautifully printed by August Press, who's right behind you. Anyways.
And the poster.
And the poster, which was also designed by you. But there's plenty of things. it's really cool to hear how even at this table things are pretty circular, right, and reciprocal. The first zine ever was Theo's zine.
Yup.
Whoa.
It's so crazy. I think back on that zine, I'm like, that looks like butt. Like,
I like it, but if you want to put it on the shelf with the YouTube videos and
No.
art is risk, you guys can
I'll put my Littlest Pet Shop adventure videos that I filmed on my iPad.
Max, you got anything?
I actually don't even have a copy of that first zine that I did that you have, I believe. But I just did go back to what you were saying about how we all evolve and start somewhere. I think that's the beauty of zines. They allow us, a lot of leeway for that, and you do change and evolve and get better as you go on, or whatever that means to you or anyone.
And the medium itself, it embraces messiness and imperfection.
It does.
The folds are supposed to be janky. The staples are supposed to be out of line. I have a zine that somebody who was in a band and was the drummer in a band whose poetry I had never even been exposed to was like, I made a poetry zine and I wanted you to see it. And I was like, this guy? No way. It just caught me off guard. And poetry's in all of us, right? But, oh, hey guys, poetry's in all of us. I wasn't sure they would be coming tonight. That's exciting. But he gives me this zine, and it's printer paper. It's printed, the margins are off, and he had, for the spine, staples down the whole thing. He did not have that long stapler. He stapled, folded it, and it was kind of beautiful. And I have another zine where somebody hand wove the spine of this zine, and they're both, I got them right around the same era, and it's both two people who surprised me with how beautiful their poetry was. And they're both perfect zines, even if I got a little bit of a cut from one of the staples, as it should be.
Can I admit something?
Yeah.
I still don't have a long stapler till this day.
I have one right over there. You want to borrow it?
No, I was just...
No?
That's just a fun fact. I hand staple my zines.
Do you do the thing where you unfold the stapler and then staple it into the carpet and then use the side of a screwdriver to push the set? You done that before?
I have done that.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
There was one time that somebody I know, he's Mully, who's in Gridiron and Scarab and stuff, used to work at, I don't need to dox him, but but he used to work somewhere nearby, and I remember I was oh my god, I need to staple these zines before this thing, and I was able to go in the back because there was an industrial stapler, and we thought it would staple the thing long enough, and it didn't. So I was not an employee at this workplace on Main Street, and I'm unfolding this stapler, I'm on the floor in the carpet, because if you staple into the carpet, it staples through. This is a tip, you can flip your zine over and then press down the pointy uppy bits. There's your DIY for the night. Yeah.
This is such a flip, because when I was publishing my first zine, the Gravers Lane zine, I was going crazy at night being it's gotta look nice. I can't look nice. So I'm I'm gonna send it off to somebody else and get it printed. Somebody else is gonna take care of it. And then it arrived, and then I remember the Gravers Lane story was you gotta feel the paper on this. And then I was the paper, right? Yeah, for sure. I was geeked.
It's cool because these are all valid zine experiences, right? And I think too what I love about zines is you can start anywhere, and if you want to and are able to send it off and get it printed fancy style, by all means. And if you need to beg your friend who works at a store with a nice printer to let you behind the scenes and print a bunch of shit while you're running late to an appointment, that's pretty it's pretty zine.
I wanted to. The very first event I vended was Punk Rock Flea Market in Newark, and I wasn't even on the vendor list. I just kind of showed up. I said, Melissa, I don't even know if I let Melissa know. I just kind of sat down at a table.
Get the head shake no from over there.
I just put my zines down on a table, and I was like, hey, guys, come over here. Come buy my zine. And I was stapling them at that show, while I was selling them, because they weren't ready yet.
Yeah. My first Zine Fest was in 2017 at the Bike Project in Newark when they were on South Main Street, and they couldn't have any shows with drums. It was all noise, which was honestly really sick still. But it was my first zine called, as I said, Art is Risk, which was ironic, but I don't think it read as ironic. And it was all printed at the UT library, and it was I was so nervous to share it, and I get there, and it's someone from a band that I've been listening to for 3 years, and all these people people who have like really professional art setups, and I was so intimidated. And this is something I love about zine culture. Everybody was so fucking nice. I had people do art swaps with me, and their art is still hanging on my wall, and it means so much to me because it was 5-minute warning. Thanks. It's art that like they were selling for like $30, and they were like, "Yeah, I'll take your shitty printer zine with your embarrassing poem, and you can have this beautiful collage I made out of herbs that grow in my garden, you know, whatever." But zines are a way to share information and uplift others, and like the glossy, beautifully printed zine that is like printed with like fancy paper is no more or less valid than like the one you're stapling as it's happening. And I feel like zinesters take each other seriously too. Does anybody want to speak to kind of how zines can share information and like the impact that's had on them, on anything?
I'm just gonna say, I just kind of lost my train of thought.
It's okay, you're valid.
Another thing I forgot to add when I wanted to make this zine is the only reason I wanted to make it was to put my name on it, share local art and local music, because that's another reason why I do Delaware Underground. When I was 15, all I wanted to do was go to these punk shows that I kept seeing all over Instagram, and I was like, where are these? I don't want to say it was gate-kept, but it was kind of gate-kept.
Should have grabbed a disturbance.
I wasn't around before COVID.
You spawned into existence.
I did spawn into existence after COVID.
We stopped February 2020, so it aligns.
But yeah, every single zine I make sure to interview one band and one artist. That's the whole premise of it. And of course, sharing all ages shows. That's the most important thing. Also, before the questions, I just want to say fuck AI. We said
Please, fuck AI.
Fuck AI.
There's conversations about data centers being built in Delaware. Please stay tuned in, and if we can all mobilize to help protest that. And you know what a great way to distribute information on that is? A, encrypted apps like Signal, and B, analog zines. I wonder if there's a zine... Oh, zine libraries! Zine libraries.
Oh, yeah.
5 minutes, we gotta do this. Zines are also a great way to like build community. We got pop-up zine libraries happening in Delaware pretty regularly. Please stay tuned for more information on that. There's flyers for the next one, which is March 8th, held by House of Catharsis. Thank you, House of Catharsis, who's right up here. You can talk to for more information. But zines respect and uplift things like local music scenes or other types of counterculture. There could be a zine about anything. But they also help share political information in a world that is censoring its people. When like the CDC website is changing, when all these scientific research centers are being taken down, like things are, we got an eye on the time. When things are being cut off in all these ways, zines are something you can hold in your hands and that somebody can't really take away from you. I love all my photocopied books that I have, the zines of like chapter 1. It's so good. Other thoughts?
Go ahead.
Being in the zine scene is really fun, and I'll literally tell a silly story. It was when I pitched the Gregor's Lane zine to the band, I had pitched it to Athena initially, the lead guitarist. I was like, all right, this is my idea. I know this. And then I think the next time I saw them, we went out to dinner afterwards, and I sat down. I was so excited. I'm like, I'm having dinner with Gregor's Lane right now. I can't believe it. Like, I was geeked. And I sat down, and then Athena was like, this is Theo. And then I think it was Rob goes, you the super fan? I was like, damn!
And now you're friends. Like,
now we're friends.
Yeah.
So,
Do you remember when
beautiful.
I was interviewing Quick Change and you came out and you said, hello, Quick Change, the band, and Parker from something, and I put that in the zine.
I forgot that was in
In
there.
the zine, it says, Theo walks out from Rainbow Records and says, hello, Quick Change, the band. That's my favorite part about that.
Sounds like something you would say.
It's my favorite exchange. Like,
It's really cool to see how zines are a conduit for community and those non-physical spaces that we can share. They're a way to spread ideas, share art, express yourself, and distribute information collectively. I encourage everybody to make a zine whenever they feel any fucking emotion. I make those really easy single printer page 8-fold zines. There's a million tutorials for them online, and I bet half the people in this room can show you how to do it if you don't already know. Raise your hand if you know how to make one of those 8-fold zines. Raise them high. Okay. If you don't, look around and ask one of these people if they want to be asked, or leave them alone. But their preference. But they're really easy. I do that with kids a lot.
Oh yeah, when Kilpis Zine Night was a thing, we did that there.
Rest in peace.
Next one when?
Next one when?
You'll know what I.
Time for questions. Any final thoughts before we move to questions? Feel free to interrupt if it comes to you. Thank you guys so much for sharing your thoughts and your art. And before we move on to questions and rush down to the next band, reminder that at least two of our artists... Oh, everybody has stuff being sold here today, because your stuff is being sold at the Impetus table. Do you want a poster or a t-shirt? And band merch? Your band merch, obviously. And then Max and Theo have stuff in the back here.
Free stickers up here.
And yeah, free stickers. Let's get some questions. Does anybody have any questions about zines? Starting a zine? Questions about us?
No.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of conversation about how zines can make impact on the community. What is an impact that you've seen, large or small, like in a personal interaction or a change that you've seen that feels like a personal success to you?
I have one that comes to mind, but you want to... Yeah, you go.
When I got into the scene, I released the zine and then I noticed like a whole bunch of other zines start to pop up like right after, like yours.
You literally inspired me to start with.
And it's crazy because now like your stuff is inspiring me to
Cry!
This is crazy. But yeah, it was really cool to like see other people starting to do it again, and otherwise stuff I wasn't seeing during that time.
I definitely can echo that. I remember something when Diego and I were making Disturbance, something we talked about a lot, and I mean it was like a thick zine that we released monthly. It was like a 20-hour-a-week job on top of everything, and we were feeling burnt out on it a little by the end. Loved it, but it was ready to be done, and we were just like, we love doing this and we're ready for someone else to take it over. And like we would always do local band highlights, all ages show list, artist highlight. I think there's... Erin, were you in it one time?
Yes.
Yeah, see? That's so fun and interesting. But I think for me, a moment that stands out in my life is I, as somebody who wasn't in bands at the time, became a recognizable person who was safe to approach in the scene. And I had people starting to come up to me when there were situations going on that they felt nervous or unsafe about. And I was able to help de-escalate and moderate a couple moments that helped. I wasn't the only one at all, and I don't want to claim that, but I was able to, by being part of this zine, be part of a larger conversation that, for that moment in the scene, helped a lot of people take each other seriously and treat each other with care, and I'm really proud of that. So that was really cool. It opened a lot of doors for that sort of thing. Good question, thank you. Other thoughts, feelings? Yeah, hi.
Hi. Just a question. So, older fan, I grew up with some zines, and just with the ubiquitousness of social media and being able to screenshot and take pictures and post whatever you want and get feedback, why do certain artists choose to do analog zines, which I love, versus just straight social media?
I have an answer, but I'll let...
Yeah, go ahead, because I kind of do a mix of both. I do physical and online. Like I have 2 issues that I did that are just strictly online. So I don't really know. I have to think about it.
I think that's an answer, though, is that some people straddle both, right?
Yeah, like the 2 that I did that aren't physical, they're both non-Delaware bands. Like one was from Wisconsin and one was from Philly. But I don't know. There's just something about physical media that I just absolutely love that analog doesn't. It doesn't give this, like, I get serotonin when I pick the scene up. Like, and I can feel it and read it.
Does it smell good?
It doesn't smell like old paper, but it'll do. I just want to touch on one thing that is unrelated to the question. I apologize. You touched on this earlier. I had a question. Someone asked me a few days ago. They were like, "How do you make your just how do you make your zine? I was like, I don't care what it looks like. I just make what looks cool. I make what I want to make. I don't compare it to other zines or artists. I'm not like, oh shit, this isn't good enough. I don't know. It's just make what you think looks cool, and make sure to see Death by Andy.
I'm gonna add one more thing if that's okay. Well, and then final remarks, and then you got to go see Death by Andy. I just got the twirl. So, is that as somebody who really struggles with social media and doesn't like it, zines are an escape from that, where I can feel more connected rather than disconnected. And I think social media becomes this sort of like this race and competition for views and engagement, and treats people as analytics rather than individuals. So I think zines physically, and there are plenty of digital zines that don't do that, but social media specifically is scary to me. And zines are a way to build connection, is my perspective. Theo had a thought, and then Max, if you have anything to add, but then Max says no. Okay, Theo.
I think on top of the feeling of paper and the feeling of doing something very physically, I think the people aspect is also really important. I've talked to and made so many friends through sharing my art and giving it physically to them and being like, and here you go, and what do you like to do, it's also a great way to get to know the people around you when you see them face to face rather than their Instagram.
And I love ripping paper up. And it's a little trinket for your shelf. Okay. Thank you guys so much for coming up. It means the world. Make your own zines. Make them shitty. Make them beautiful. I don't care. Make them shitty and beautiful.
Send them to me. I want to see it.
Yeah. We have a lot of free zines available here today at the Mask Block table and also at the House of Catharsis table. Please make time to come to the next zine library. That's your punk homework so that you can show up well for the people in your life. And go check out Death by Andy downstairs. Thank you guys so much.